All right, so thanks to everyone who's sending questions. As always, pretty sick to be able to see all the questions that people want answered for, to do with BMX, and it's definitely awesome to be able to try and answer them. I was just going to concentrate on a few of them. So, alright, I'm going to do some interesting ones. Benny McMillan said, what are the best actions to take when your bike is stolen? Should we report it missing to you guys, or what would you recommend best to get a stolen bike back? Obviously we're always happy to help with guys that bought bikes from us or live locally or whatever. We'll try our best to spread the word, just I guess because once we spread the word, then it's just one more person that's able to get it out there. But yeah, best course of action is obviously to talk to the police. I reckon the more things you do, like putting up signs and stuff, the more likely you are getting it back, like having physical signs at the skate park. Like the more you're able to do things like that, better your chances. Yeah, so if you've had your bike stolen, the best way to deal with that is to not have it stolen in the first place. So probably buy a lock would be a good one. If you're always leaving it places, like it's just easier just to lock it up rather than have to deal with having your bikes be stolen. So we've had this question a couple of times the last couple of weeks, and it is, just lost it. Are you ever going to be making your own bikes? No, we won't be making our own bikes. There's too many good brands that are doing good bikes out there and good parts, like especially good bikes, for us to, there's not really much point in getting our own bikes made when there's already good brands that make bikes. So plenty of brands out there that are doing a good thing for BMX, making sick bikes that are pretty damn cheap considering. So yeah, we'll just leave it to the experts. We'll just do our best to pick the best ones and yeah, sell the best ones. So can you do more backbone hats? Mine has gone missing. Yeah, we're going to do more hats. Keep an eye out soon. Actually, I'm really a little bit nervous to answer this question. At Powers BMX, who is Marcus O'Brien from Jefferson State, from I think it's up north California, I think. Badass. He said, why is BMX so soft nowadays? It used to be raw back in the 90s. Now it's all nice guy selfie bullshit. I don't know if it is. I don't know if it is soft, to be honest. Like, I think dudes like the Powers dudes, they're hardcore dudes, and they definitely ain't soft. And I'd like to think that all dudes that ride for Backbone are pretty hardcore, and I mean, we're psyched on the video, and hopefully that portrayed like who we are. There's some sick hardcore dudes that are in BMX, that's for sure. And I think that the softness is just more, I think it's just a generational thing. It's, like when when you get older like us, Marcus, and I'm not even just about to be 30, but you know, like, you kind of can see past stuff and you start to get your own opinion on what's sick about BMX. I also think that, unfortunately, it's a generational thing. Like, people now are they're growing up with Instagram and social media, and it's all just right there. And because it's all right there, and it's up to whoever it is that's putting it out there to put it up, you can get a lot of kooks, or you can get a lot of, you can get a whole range of different people that are putting stuff up. And I think that, I guess the selfie bullshit that you talk about, you know, hardcore dudes are less likely to give a shit about putting up, you know, like the type of photos that you're talking about. But that doesn't mean that there's less hardcore dudes. It just means that it's always been that way. Like, it's just that back in the 90s, or, you know, like the early 2000s, or even up until a few years ago, we were lucky enough to grow up with publications such as, you know, just magazines, and sick magazines that I guess would choose to filter out all of, you know, the stuff that we didn't like seeing. Whereas nowadays it's up to whoever to put stuff up. I personally would actually like to see more of I think it's a good chance. It's kind of an exciting time in BMX, I guess, if you look at it from a different perspective, because I feel like it would be sick to see more dudes like, say, Clint Reynolds, for example. He puts up stuff about building trails and doing mods and just being a badass dude, going camping and whatever. And that is sick because it then helps to influence the next generation. Like, whereas I guess it's those that are, whoever's most proactive about BMX these days, because BMX really is in the hands of BMXers now. Like, not that it wasn't in the hands of BMXers with magazines and stuff, it's just that nowadays, like, a BMXer is responsible for what other BMXers see. Like I can put up a photo and other people will see it. And I guess it really comes down to who does that as to what the overall look of BMX is. I think it's kind of could potentially be an opportunity for some of the dudes who are like more hardcore or have stronger ideals about what BMX is to like help to push that and like persuade that onto kids, because I think that when you're younger, because like, you know, you're never the hardcore BMXer when you first, like, I'm 29 now and I would like to think that I have a lot to say and think about what BMX is to me, because when I came into BMX when I was, you know, 10 or 11 or 12, like, I didn't know anything about what was sick or hardcore. I just was, whatever was fed to me from whatever I could get my hands on was what helped shape me with BMX. And I guess as well as that, like, locationally, like, I just lived in a place with no skate park, so you build jumps, and I guess that just helps to mold you as well. But these days, you know, like, people can see all types of BMX, and because BMX is so just in everyone's face all the time, it kind of tricks people into thinking that that's how good you have to be all the time. You have to be showing off how you are, otherwise you'll be forgotten. And that's not the case at all. I think that it's a generational thing. You know, like I said, you don't really think about being a hardcore dude in BMX when you're 12 or 13. You just think about riding your bike. And I do think that just with the way that there is no magazines now, no props, things like that, that helped shape people into a particular style of BMXer that really gave a shit about BMX. Nowadays you don't see that side of BMX so much, so I guess people are persuaded into, yeah, like not being hard. So I think it's a kind of a good opportunity for people like yourself, you know, like I personally still get inspired and froth on seeing stuff from, you know, what you guys are building, and to me that's hardcore BMX. Like when people are doing stuff, they're out there and they're doing stuff for BMX. I've said this before, like whether it's building jumps or doing something, just doing something for BMX, that's what makes people hardcore, because BMX has always been like a counterculture, you know, like it's always been something where I guess it's been for people that didn't fit in with team sports, or, you know, like always liked punk music or whatever. Like to me, in my opinion, that's what BMX has always been, whereas now it is a lot more accepted. I mean, it's everywhere now, so there's less instances where you're shown like the hardcore and the core side of BMX. But yeah, I think that just because of the internet, that's what's made it into what it is, like, and it's kind of not going to go away, but it's up to us, it's up to hardcore riders to be able to show a different side to BMX. I think that'd be important. Like because, you know, people that are proactive about it, that's what you're going to see in BMX now. Whereas, you know, people can be bummed on what they see, but if you're not showing an alternative, or if people aren't showing an alternative, then what people will see is what they'll get. So hopefully, you know, I think there's still kids out there that want to be into BMX and be like a hardcore BMXer. That's the main thing, I think, is like never, just because kids are 13 or 15 years old now and don't give a shit about anything doesn't mean they're not going to be 18 or 21 and start really giving a shit about BMX and doing stuff about BMX. So you can't count out the new generation just yet. So hopefully that answers the question. It's a long one, but it was a good question, and I hear what you're saying, and I hope that makes sense, because that's what I believe in. Kids will hopefully be able to find their own way if they have enough hardcore resources to shape them into a hardcore BMXer. So anyway, that's me done. Thanks for sending in questions. Yeah, leave a question below if you ever want something answered. I'll see you next week. Cheers.